how is that going to impact my life along with everybody else? If that's not in your elevator talk that you put on your GoFundMe, very few people are going to listen. They're going to read, I want to, and I see these on here, I want to make a movie about blah, 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 and I want to, and I, instead of, there's children hurting in Africa. You can make a difference. We can do this together through this impact film that will reach thousands of people, to lift up the impoverished, to turn them into productive people who now will be conduits of blessings to others. Is there a difference there? Besides, I want to make a movie? Right. That's what we're talking about here. For the investor, he wants to hear the big picture. He wants to know who he's aligning with. In investing, I did a talk last year at the NACFC to financial investment professionals. It was a talk that I thought maybe it would be the last one I'd ever do there because it was going to be piercing. And it was why it's important to stand firm on investing with biblical integrity, even with your non-believing clients. Let me ask you a question. If you came to me for financial advice to invest for you and I said, great, here's something I'd really like to share with you, is there anything you wouldn't want to invest in? Would there be something you wouldn't want to earn, profit from? What would? Pornography. Okay. Pornography. We screen for pornography. Make sure that the company either doesn't promote or profit from it or even donate to Planned Parenthood or anything like that. We also do it for abortion. We also do it for alcohol, tobacco. Why alcohol and tobacco? Well, because I've never met an alcohol or tobacco company that didn't in some way want you to get drunk and have sex in their advertisement or give money to immoral lifestyles to promote their products. It's changed a little bit. There is one beer company now I came across that doesn't do any of that, so that's kind of neat. But you think about that. You wouldn't want to be in those things, but what if I said, so we're not going to be in any of those things? And you say, well, I really don't care about tobacco and alcohol. Everybody has a drink now and then. I said, I'm not talking about drinking, I'm talking about partnering with them. When you buy stock, you become an owner. As an owner, you now are partnering with them. And by partnering with them, what they do good, you're doing. What they do bad, you're doing. Okay? I really don't care. Okay, well, we'll do a portfolio. We'll leave that screening out. But can I share Jesus Christ with you? And I start telling you about Jesus Christ. Why would you believe that I really believe Jesus Christ when I just compromised what he told me to do? That my witness has already been compromised because I didn't stand firm on what I know to be true, to test all things. Okay? As an investor, as a fiduciary for investors, I'm looking at that in you. I'm looking at you and I'm saying, talks Christian, looks Christian. Yet I Googled him, and on Wikipedia they did this thing on the wild guns and pillaging of the Wild West, or the beautiful women of San Diego or something. It's like there's something missing here. There's between what they say and what they do. Well, if they would compromise that, would they compromise telling me the truth on what's going on with the books, on what the cost of things are, on how far they are on production, who really has stepped up to be acting in the movie, what producers are going to be there, what mark? How can I trust any of that? I have a doubt now if your walk isn't the same as your talk. And nobody's perfect, right? But as close as we could be. And transparency is really, really important in that. So I want to share that's very important. There was in my book, I tell the story of, we talk about this a lot. In America, success is defined as how much, period. How much power, how much money, how much influence we have. That's not the success of the Bible, even though that's covered. Because really, if you think about it, we're adopted children of one true God. Who owns everything? He does. I'm his child. Who's an heir? I am. So effectively, I am the adopted child of the owner of everything. Who has all the power? One true God. Who has all the influence and affluence? The one true God. So really, I'm there anyway. You're there anyway. But in this world, we keep it in time and space instead of eternity. And success is defined in that. There was a survey that was done of college students graduating, and they asked how many of you would cheat on a test to graduate. And it was over 60%. That conflicts with everything we're about, doesn't it? About who we're about, who we represent. Sad part is, it was the same amount with Christians and non-Christians. And that went on to talk about who would lie on their resume. Same statistics. You see, there's a compromise here. And though, that we're talking about money at this point, when somebody senses a compromise, it creates hesitation and it causes you to stand back. So when somebody says they're a Christian filmmaker, they should be a Christian filmmaker. If you want, you can raise money. There's always somebody out there who will give you money. But if you want to have backing, if you want to have partners, then be who you say you are. And be transparent about it. Because you might not have all the actors or all the stuff in place. You might say, this is where we're at. Be clear, be transparent, and trust God to draw the right people to you. Because there's temptation when money comes into the fold. We see this all the time. Money comes in, partners with you. In fact, have you ever heard the verse about being unequally yoked? Do you know what that means? Do you all know what that means? Where it came from? Okay. Let me share a few things. In the Bible times, yoke was what they put around the beast to plow the fields. If you had a nice big bull, Brahma bull or something that was pulling, and then you had a goat or a mule, one's weaker, slower, and it would pull the other one off track. It would cause the pharaohs to be all over the place. It would be very hard to do, and it would cause both of them to weaken. Unfortunately, in America today, when we are unequally yoked with the secular world, it generally is the Christians who weaken first and are pulled off track to do secular things. Somebody comes along with a big billfold of money, says, I want to back you, and you say, great, we're going to partner up. This will be good. And then they come in and say, I was watching that scene. And, I know this is a Christian film, but let's make it real. Let's change it just a little bit. Not a lot, right? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe the guy lies or something to get to ends meet, to get to the end where it's all good. Well, no, that's not what he would do. He loves the Lord. He's going to speak the truth. He's going to do these things. We need to represent those things and not let the world convince us after they get in partner, not with us, to change our ways. So maybe it's just as much as my clients would want to partner with a Christian film people, companies, actors, writers. Maybe you should desire to get with Christian investors only and not be unequally yoked. Just a thought. I'm not saying we can't use secular money, but what is the influence? What control are they going to get from that? There's two things that I'd like to share on the purpose. You need I know I said this already, but impact, clear, concise, short. When people call my office, I have two people who answer my phone. Stephen, who's grinning, and Cindy. I have instructed them, and I re-instruct them, and they probably are tired of me re-instructing them to find out what they want before they transfer it in. I have a lot to do every day. I'm not a big, important guy, but I can't get everything done. If I did nothing else with the rest of my life, I couldn't catch up on what I've already started. So I want to make sure who comes into me, they're clear, they're on a path. They want my attention, they got it, but for how long? It's like after 10 minutes of you going down 16 different roads and plots and thoughts and what you're trying to do, I'm like, that sounds really interesting. why don't you call me back when you're a little further along? You know, that kind of thing. So that would be one thing. The other thing is, I want to know up front, are you looking for a donation? Are you looking for a partner? And you might say, what do you mean? Well, a lot of the people would go either way if they can get it funded. I'd like donations. You know, we're going to follow them a 501c3. We're going to do these movies for a nonprofit organization, and we're trying to raise the money. But that's just as valid. But I need to know, because the people who might want to invest are different than the people who might want to donate. So you have to be clear on that yourself. Oftentimes people don't, and let me share another way to look at this, and this is a little harsh. I don't want you to pretend this is for profit and not have a way for me to get my money back or my client's money back. Does that make sense? Because then you should have just said it was for donations, because you don't have a clear path. You don't have a business plan on how this is going to make money. The Ultimate Life did. They had already pre-sold the video rights to recover all the money for whoever would invest before they started production. So once the movie was done, there would be, I don't remember exactly, but $1 million+ put into account from the company that bought the video rights. They could show us how this is not as risky as just somebody who wants to make a movie. And not everybody could do that, but have you thought about it? Have you thought about, how do I bless those who God has sent to bless me, to partner with me? So do you have a business plan? I played music for a living as a young man before I was saved. Got to always put that in there. One of the things, my buddy who was a bass player, who thought it was his band, I knew it was mine, but he thought it was his. We were good business partners together, in the sense that right off the bat we started reading business books on music, and we knew we had to do certain things to make money in this business, because if we didn't make money, we wouldn't be playing music. So we started working on a business plan. In fact, you know, little things like how you dress when you go to a gig. You couldn't come to a gig dressed like if you couldn't walk into a venue and point out the band members, you weren't in the band. You know, marketing. It was all marketing. We had a marketing plan. We had those kind of things, and we did okay. We didn't do great. We got a little airplay, but you know, we didn't go anywhere, and thank God we didn't. You know, because that was the wrong road for me. But the thing was, we had a business plan. Every film should have a business plan. A business plan that actually shows cash flows, where the money's going to come from, how you're going to raise it, what profits, where the profits are going to come from, how those profits are going to be distributed, how my partners are going to be blessed by this film. And it should be a worst case, best case, and expected case. And you're saying, I don't want to do that. Well, it's the movie business. If you're looking for people to partner with you, you have to go there. And if you don't want to do it, you find somebody who will. And that's important. And finally, do you want an investor or do you want a partner? Serious question. A little feedback here. Wait.
Depends on what you do. What you want to do.
Okay.
Depends. I mean, in some, let's say we want to do a movie with Theo, I was more looking about a partner.
Partner, exactly. I will tell you, from the investor side, they're looking to partner with you. It doesn't mean they want to control what you do, but they want to participate in the impact you're going to have in this world. And who do you think is going to be the biggest evangelist for your movie besides your partners? Especially if you treat them like a partner and just not like somebody you dump money in. Ron Blue's daughter put out a book. Everybody who knew Ron Blue got an email from him and said, let's come together, let's partner to make this book #1. You know, and so everybody got on this list, and then when it came out, he emailed everybody, said, now everybody go buy one book for yourself and one for a friend on Amazon, so that it becomes the #1 bestseller in a week. How cool is that? Now he can go out there and she can go out there and say, I'm a #1 bestseller. By the way, I want you all to do that for me. Not yet. I'll leave that. But you know, what a great marketing idea, right? If people think they're being used, some people will still invest. But if you want an evangelist, you want to get great returns from your partner, from the investor, make them a partner. Keep them involved. Communicate. Have a monthly letter to all the investors, bringing them up to date. Don't have their advisor calling you and saying, "Hey, what's going on with this movie?" You know, and from the very beginning, let them know that you know that this is a partnership, if not in the sense of controlling partnership, but that God brought us together for a reason. Is any of this hitting the mark? Is it useful?
It's very helpful, yes.
Okay. I'd like to finish up here with a quote. One that has steered my life ever since I read it, by a gentleman. Anybody ever hear of A.W. Tozer? Sometimes he can say things in one paragraph that'll take me months to totally digest. And I'd like to share this with you. This is from his book, The Pursuit of God. A free Christian should act from within with a total disregard for the opinions of others. If a course is right, he should take it because it is right, not because he is afraid not to take it. And if it is wrong, he should avoid it, though he lose every earthly treasure and even his very life as a consequence. See, our picture is so much bigger. God called you to be supermen and women in the movie industry. You have a superpower. I want to encourage you to use that superpower to cure the ills of our society in the United States and around the world, to bring the love of God to each and every person that walks in that movie theater, that smells that buttered popcorn. That every time they smell that, they think of how they left that theater and went, oh. You know, I was so blessed by that movie. I walked out feeling so great and on fire for the Lord. I just want to tell everybody about it. That's the power you have. Supermen and women in the movie industry. And there is an enemy out there that's going to try and not take you down, just divert you a little bit. So your integrity is compromised, your movie's integrity is compromised, and thereby the gospel. I do want to share one more thing about the book. This is a pre-release. Usually when they do a pre-release, they send you one book. I was speaking here, I said I need 25. And they sent it. One of the things they send you one so you can see how it's laid out. Well, some of these pages, the words are all the way up to the edge. They're not cut off, but they're up to the edge. So I'm sorry about that. That's the books I have here. But on the other hand, it's kind of like a stamp or a coin. You get the one with the defect in it. It's a collector's item here. It's a collector's item here. So I want to thank you for allowing me to be here. I am humbled to be here. I really am. It's a blessing. I never thought that I'd be speaking to people with such power, such impact that they can have in this world. Thank you very much. God bless.